Okay, so moving forward now that we've got a little bit of a better grip on exponents and we kind of remember what they represent. Now we're going to review product of powers, and product is just saying when you multiply things with powers. So this is just um, multiplying things with exponents. That's all that means. That's all product of powers means. Multiplying things with exponents, right? Or terms, multiplying terms. Let's use terms. Terms sounds like a little math here and just, you know, people take it more seriously. But pretty much you're multiplying things with exponents. All right, so what it means in words here, to multiply two powers that have the same base. That's really important. When you're going to use these properties, they have to have the same base, right? And then when you do that, you can add their exponents. It's this really, really cool thing you can do, right? And so like for this one here, it says for any real numbers a and any integers m and p, right? So it's saying a to the m times a to the p equals, right, this. And so an example of this would be x to the fourth times x to the seventh power. What they're telling us is they're saying, hey, you keep your base the same, and then you just add these two numbers, right? You go 4 plus 7 and you get 11, right? You go 4 plus 7, and then that's how you get your 11. Now, why does this work? And like everything, I really think it's important to be able to remind yourself of how these things work. So if we have this, if we have 4 to the third times 4 squared, just remember what this means, right? So if I'm talking about just 4 to the third, right, if I just break this one up, this means 4 times 4 times 4, right? That's what 4 to the third represents, right? I don't like the way that looks. That looks like 43, right? So 4 to the third is this, right? And then we're multiplying it, so it's times, and then you got 4 squared. Well, 4 to the second power is 4 times 4. It's 2 groups of 4. This is 3 groups of 4. And so when you're multiplying these out, right, you just kind of put it all in a row, right? And you go 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Well, all you have to do, based upon what we know from last video, is just you see that they're all the same base. So you go, oh, well, that's going to be 4. And then we're doing it a total of 5 times, right? So 4 to the fifth power, which happens to be what you get when you add 3 and 2. So this is kind of a pretty intuitive rule, the way it works, right? So 4 to the fifth. Okay, so that's basically how these work. They're not super complicated. They're kind of what they are. All right, and so now when we do these, all right, pretty much what you do is you're going to do any kind of normal multiplication that you would regularly do, and then apply this review item. I'm not going to call it new because this isn't new to you guys. You have done this. You guys have done this in 2 previous years of math. So, you know, remind yourself of that it's up there somewhere. You got it somewhere. All right, so b to the third times b to the fifth. All right, so for those of you who understand this really quick, it's just b to the eighth. For those of you who don't understand how I just got that, what I did is I did b to the third, right? And I broke that up into 3 b's, right? There's 3 of them. And then we are multiplying that by b to the fifth, which is another 5 of them, right? So you got that, and that. So there's 5 of them, right? And then you just count how many you got in a row. So you got 3 plus 5 is b to the 8th power. Okay, and you got to make sure you're writing the exponent out and you're doing all of that. So that's how we're getting at these like so quickly, right? All right, for this next one, it's the same deal. You've got 4 g's here, you've got another 6 g's here. When you multiply them and the bases are the same, which they are, you just add, just go 4 plus 6, right? That equals 10. So I am going to get g to the 10th power. Now, when you do a problem like this, right, when you're multiplying monomials that are basically products of each other, right? So what this is saying is you have 6 times n times n times n times, and now I'm going to bust this one up, and this is going to be really long, guys, but I'm just proving a point here. All right, there we go, right? So we've got 7 n's here, we've got 3 here, and then we've got our numbers here. And so you're multiplying all these together, and so the n's are relatively straightforward. If you've got 3 here and you've got 7 here, right? So you've got 3 here, and if you've got 7 here, right? You just go 3 plus 7 is 10. And so I know I'm going to have n to the 10th power. And then this is a multiplication problem, right? It's a multiplication problem. What's 6 times 2? 6 times 2 is 12. And so the common mistake I see people make is they'll go like this. And I'm going to do this in red to show you that this is the wrong way. So the wrong way is people will go, well, n to the 10th, and they'll get that right. And then they'll go, oh, they'll think in their head, they'll go, oh, 6 plus 2 because I added exponents, and then they'll go 8. And that is absolutely 100% not right because you are multiplying. You're going 6 times 2, right? And so if you're doing that, you just got to make sure you're remembering how this works, right? And that's how it works, okay? So this last one, let's get rid of this, okay? We've got the same thing, right? And so let's just kind of break this up because now we have several variables, right? So we're gonna say, okay, we have 3. All right, let's put my numbers together. Now let's put my p's together. So I got 1 p from here, and then I've got 3 of them over here. So let's go p, p, and p. All right, and then I've got 3 t's and 4 t's. So I've got a total of, you see, and you do this enough times, and you start finding yourself doing the math before you're even writing it down, and you don't have to write it down anymore. Right? So how many p's do we have? We have 4. Right? Because you got 1 here and you got 3 here. How many t's do you have? You have 7. Because there's 3 and there's 4. That's why we just add these things. So you get p to the 4th, t to the 7th, and then 3 is just out in front by itself. There's not another to multiply it by. However, that will change, and you just got to remember. So what I always do is I always do coefficients first. All right? I always do coefficients, right? And then I do each variable. Right? So if you've got more than one variable in the expression, do one of them and then do another one. And then just kind of tally them up, right? And then you just kind of glue it all together. Glue it all together. Put them all together, right? Because they're multiplying. And when we have numbers right next to variables, that means that that is a product. That is multiplying. All right? So you can informally say glue it all together, hopefully, as long as you understand that it's just multiplying, right? It's a product. Okay, so hopefully this helps you guys out a little bit, and we will see you on the next one.